So, good afternoon, participants. Hope I'm audible. I think this is going to be a session which I have been waiting and which I love. The reason why I wanted to have some officials who would come and address for this session was government has been making lot of efforts to make citizens' life in general the public's life in a simplified and a comfortable manner. So what's happening is most of the time when IT was booming, people thought like IT is only for private sectors. But once there was e-governance, we do not understand how exactly there is B2B, B2C, these sort of things, which we understood in our second day session through the e-commerce by Lakshman Kumar Sinha, who spoke a lot about how models work in business models work in the commercial world. But beyond this, to make our life simple, the government makes lot of efforts. So here we have with us the team which is behind that, who most of the time go unrecognized or who don't come into the picture. So that's the reason. When I was partly assisting the Bhumi project some years ago in 2001, 2002, I know what is the effort which goes behind the screen, and that was the only reason I wanted to bring in some officials to tell us what it is. So when we are talking about e-governance, it could be anything like G2C, government to citizens, G2B, government to business, or G2E, government to employees. There is a whole lot of huge support system which is created, and there is a team which works behind this, and I think that's what is an effort made by the team here, and I'm thankful that we have with us here. Set of people, and Venkat sir is going to talk about this presentation. I warmly welcome Satish MR, Project Director, Manjunath sir, Project Manager, and SN Venkatnath sir as a speaker to the session. So they all represent, Center for E-Governance, Government of Karnataka, Bangalore. We thank government, and we thank Center for E-Governance, Government of Karnataka for all the things what they've been doing for us. With this, I also have our director, Sir Dr. H.R. Venkatesha, sir, who has joined us. Sir, if you could just extend them a small welcome. We have Satish sir, Manjunath sir, and Venkatnath sir also who are there in the session. So from the government of Karnataka.
Okay, and good morning to all the guests here, Mr. Satish, Mr. Manjunath, and we have one more guest from Venkatnath. And this is a program organized by Acharya Bangalore B School in association with AICTE, Government of India, Ministry of Higher Education, and I am extremely thankful to the Government of Karnataka representatives who are going to speak on technology and e-governance. And for the consumption of participants from across the country, you all must be knowing that not only Bangalore is the IT capital, Government of Karnataka is one of the leading state government in India to implement e-governance. And our Bhumi project, where land documents are digitized, is one of its kind in the country. And I am extremely happy to say that the initiative of the government of Karnataka has been emulated by many state governments across the country. Our Bangalore one, and there are very, very successful programs, initiatives taken by the government. And today we have people who are behind all these initiatives. And I profusely thank all the representatives of the Government of India who have come to share their experience in taking technology and services to the people. We have the people from Center for e-enabling government, and I profusely thank my coordinator, Professor Jivaratna, for taking initiative to bring the right people on the board. And I wish this will be useful to all the participants, and I wish the program all the successful. Over to Professor Jivaratna.
Thank you so much, sir. So with this, I think we can open the session for presentation. Venkat sir, if you are ready and if you could go on full mode, you can go for the presentation. I thank our director sir for putting this note of address to the representatives present here. Yeah, please go ahead,
Sure.
sir.
We are at CAG are are thankful for inviting us and making a part of making a part of this session and this thing. And yeah, as Madam said, CAG has done a lot of things over the past few years, ever since its inception, and we are into so many things, developing apps and websites for the government departments, various government departments, and I would like to start off with the Department of E-Governance. Ma'am, can you just take me to the first slide? Hello?
Yes, sir. It's in the first slide. Department of Personal
Yeah,
Administration.
Department of E-Governance and Administrative Reforms in E-Governance. As you all know, Government of Karnataka has been, a pioneer when it comes to the IT and IT-enabled services. And ever since the IT boom, the Karnataka has taken a leadership in executing works and executing various projects which are IT enabled. And Bangalore, as you all know, is known as the Silicon City of India, and that shows the commitment of the government of Karnataka towards providing facilities for IT enabled services. Uh, like mentioned in the slide, e-governance is a part of Department of Personal and Administrative Reforms, and the special wing of e-governance under the DPAR was established in 2003. And as I said earlier, the DPAR e-governance it facilitates acceleration of IT enabling processes for increased transparency and efficiency in administration and better delivery of services to its citizens. Main focus is our citizens, and whatever we do are citizen oriented, and we make sure that the facilities announced, the facilities provided by the state government as well as the government of India are directly it directly reaches the citizens. The next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So when the e-governance department was formed, um, you know there are certain it had a certain role, and it has a certain role which was conceptualized by the government of Karnataka. Like we have the creating of policy framework, certain vision and guidelines for e-governance projects. Like every project and every project announced by the government of Karnataka, which is IT enabled, the e-governance department automatically comes in, and there is a policy framework, and when it comes to the execution of these policies, the e-governance department plays a major role. And yeah, we are also into creation of the maintenance of core infrastructures, and later on I will explain about what are all the core infrastructures of the e-governance department, mainly executed by the Center for E-Governance. And development and promotion of common standards in designing of e-governance projects. That is like we are into now developing our own templates for the government departments, so that it is easier for the public to remember the websites, the URL especially, so that there is not much of confusion. And yeah, and Center for E-Governance. Center for E-Governance, like I said, is the institute which executes all the projects, all major projects of which comes under e-governance department. Center for E-Governance, like I said, it was established in the year 2006 under Department of Personal and Administrative Reforms. It is an autonomous body, an independent body set up for the conceptualizing, implementing, and monitoring various e-governance initiatives in Karnataka. And yeah, and it is a society under the Karnataka Societies Registration Act of 1960, and it spread across the entire state. And And one important thing I would like to mention is the Center for E-Governance is unique when it comes to other departments and other government corporations, boards, because it directly reports to the Chief Minister, similar to the Finance Department and the State Intelligence Department. Because these are the two other organizations, because Chief Minister is heading the Finance Department and the other department as well. I would go to this. This is an organization structure. CEG is headed by the Additional Chief Secretary, DPAR E-Governance, which is Mr. Rajiv Chawla. Under him is the Chief Executive Officer, who is Mr. Vipin Singh. And there are several project directors, like our own project director, Mr. Satish MR, who heads the web portal projects. There is Seema Madam, who heads the e-office project.
Do you want me to show the web portal, sir? Venkat sir, do you want me to show the web portal?
Web portal, no, I'll come to that project later on. I have slides related to the core infrastructures. Under core infrastructures, there is web portal. There is other projects which I've mentioned in the.
No, the names what you're calling are there on that CG portal. No? So I thought I'll just show that link. Probably you but prepared some.
Yeah,
I have prepared.
give us the
slides.
You can take you to the organization slide.
Okay.
I think he's talking about the next slide.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we are there, sir. Done? Is it right, sir?
The organization.
Is this the one?
There is one chart.
This one, sir.
Okay, I think it's still not loading for me. I think one more, next slide.
If something goes missing, they can do it. And then once again, they can upload and let
Visible? The chart?
Next one, next one. It's an hierarchy diagram.
Yes, sir. This is the one. Probably, I think audience are able to show me, see that, sir.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, please, yes. Venkat, please.
Can I continue?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. No, this is the organization chart which I prepared. Like I said, the Additional Chief Secretary, DPAR E-Governance, he heads the CEG, and he's Mr. Rajiv Chawla right now, who is the Additional Chief Secretary, DPAR E-Governance. And next to him below him is the Chief Executive Officer, which is Mr. Vipin Singh. And below them are the project directors for various projects which I've mentioned below. Madam, can you please take me to the next slide?
You want me to change the slide, sir?
Yeah, next slide, please.
Core infrastructures of Center for E-Governance. You're able to see that, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm not able to see it. Yeah, now I can.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When it comes to, like I mentioned, there are several core infrastructures which the Center for E-Governance has developed for functioning of the state government, and for also to execute various projects which are announced by the pro-people projects announced by the state government. One among them is the Mobile One. And Mobile One is one such app which is like, India's first and the world's largest multi-mode mobile governance platform. And it is unified mobile platform by delivering citizen services, both from the government and private sector. It is available 24/7 at any location in India on any mobile. It it makes us easy. It makes the people easy to, when it comes to availing these services, like, be it the payment of their taxes, utility bills, or paying their traffic violation fines, or tracking their passport status and availing birth certificates. This mobile one service is being utilized by people of Karnataka, and and yeah, like I said, anytime at any place they can avail the services. Next slide, madam.
Yes, sir. Karnataka State Data Center.
Yeah. This is one of the most important part of the CEG, because Karnataka State Data Center was set up in 2004, 2005, and as on, like, there is an increase in the data, increase in more number of applications coming in, be it the softwares, be it the websites, and be it anything related to IT enabled services offered by the Karnataka. Here's where this is the place where everything is stored, everything is saved, and currently the state data center hosts around 119 applications and 260 servers for various government departments. And like, I've mentioned about the objectives: centralized home to different government requirements and databases, and it provides the necessary infrastructure for different projects of e-governance, and to facilitate the government services online, and to provide the best and efficient services to its citizens. And without this KSDC, it is somewhat difficult for us to execute our applications and save our data, save our thing. Next slide.
Yes, sir. It is SECLAN, SECLAN.
Yeah, SECLAN. SECLAN is basically, it is not in the public domain. It basically is for our representatives. Basically, it is for the government secretariat housed in the Vidhan Sauda and in MS building and Vikas Sauda. This is basically for, it is a local area network which has been developed specially for our representatives, especially for the secretariats to function hassle free, and whenever there is a need for questions to be, answers to be given by the government officials, to when the assembly is in session or when the council is in session, the local area network plays a major role, because without any glitch, they need to answer the questions. They need to provide details whenever they've been asked. So this secretariat local area network helps them a lot, and because of which we have been able to provide all the details to the whoever, like, the representatives who ask questions, or the clarifications from the officials. Next.
Yes, sir. So next slide is KS-WAN, Karnataka State Wide Area Network.
Yeah, this is like, like LAN. This is a wide area network, like extended to all departments, through which it becomes easier for the departments to function, and for having our video conferences of various departments. The Karnataka State Wide Area Network is used, and like, we didn't, like, it is, we wanted a hassle-free thing to happen when the government or the officials, or when it comes to the Chief Minister's office or High Court of Karnataka or any other departments having a conference or a virtual meeting, to have an hassle-free and free of any glitch. So that is the reason we developed the Karnataka State Wide Area Network, and all our video conferences throughout the state, throughout the country. If the Chief Minister has to attend a meeting, or if the Chief Secretary has to attend a virtual meeting, or in fact the Governor's office, it is through the case. It is to the KS-WAN application. Next slide, madam.
Yes, sir. Karnataka Resident Data Hub, core application. Okay, Karnataka Resident Data Hub.
Yeah, this is basically to have to have to save our beneficiary database. This is like every beneficiary who's who's availing benefits from the government, the database of such people, it is saved here. And it also like I've mentioned there, it weed out duplicates and bogus entries and linking of all beneficiaries across all departments, welfare, Department of Stamps and Registration, because these are important departments wherein which play a major role when it comes to extending the benefits to the people of Karnataka. Like I said, CG has implemented the e-signatures successfully in all these departments, because the BBMP, the BDA, they have the public has the access, the close access to these departments when it comes to stamps and registrations, health and family welfare. So to enable that the benefits are reached to the genuine beneficiaries, e-signatures has been implemented successfully. Next slide, ma'am.
E-office.
E-office, yeah. The main vision of this application is to achieve transparency, efficiency, and effective governance at all government level by providing an electronic form for the function. Recently, currently it has been implemented in 218 offices belonging to various government departments, secretariats, boards, and corporations. Recently, the eGov office also launched e-citizen portal, wherein a person who has filed his applications in various departments can track the status of his application. He will get to know where the application is and who is looking at his application now, and further processes. This is mainly to bring in transparency into the government functioning, and so that the people are benefited out of the schemes announced by the state government as well as the Government of India. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah, this is one of the important applications launched by the Government of Karnataka under PM Kisan project. It's named Fruits. Fruits Farmers Registration and Unified Beneficiary Information System. It's abbreviated as Fruits. And it is an e-governance initiative, and like KRDH, which has the common database of all the beneficiaries, including general public. This is specially for the farmers, wherein they can register themselves and for availing various beneficiaries. Various departments like agriculture, horticulture, and animal husbandry and veterinary sciences, fisheries, backward classes, social welfare departments, they are being brought under a single platform to ensure that the farmers get the benefit. Like I've mentioned, more than 59 lakh farmers have registered under Fruits, and the numbers are growing day by day, and they have been able to reap the benefits out of the project, benefits announced by the state government, benefits announced by the Government of India. Next slide, ma'am.
HRMS.
This is this HRMS, Human Resource Management System. This is basically for the government, people who are into government services, because it is an application wherein it records all the leave, transfer, payroll, administration, service procedures. It also maintains the service records of the employees, and to mainly it is an accurate database of the government employees for effective administration, improving and productivity and efficiency. Like earlier, the service records. Like I'm very new to all this to talk about service records, because I am not into government service, but I am a consultant here. So, service records, I guess, were maintained in ledgers, and books, and all this kind of things to make it a hassle-free, to make it, everything comes on a computer, everything is IT enabled. Now we have launched this human resource management system, and it was launched some, I guess, around 5 to 6 years back, and it is being implemented very effectively, and it is very easy for the officials to get to know their the number of leaves pending and all the benefits, what all benefits are pending, what are all they're going to get. And this is basically for the government to maintain the service records and payroll generations of the government employees. Next slide, ma'am.
E-procurements.
Yeah, e-procurement, I am not able to, I cannot divulge much on the e-procurement because it is somewhat little confidential. E-procurement, it is whatever the tender process, procurement process is being done by the government of Karnataka by various departments. It is through e-procurement. And again, yeah, every app, every application what we launch and every program what will launched by the government of Karnataka is to enhance transparency and accountability of government procurement process. So that everyone gets to know, to promote competitive market bidding. Everyone can bid in the process. Everyone gets to access the procurement process. Everyone can participate, and yeah, it's a common environment for all types of tenders. Any tender announced by the government of Karnataka is executed through e-procurement, and further the officials, concerned officials, take it forward. Aadhaar. We are very proud to say that CEG is an implementing authority for Aadhaar in Karnataka. In fact, Karnataka as of now has issued unique identification numbers to 96% of its population, which is among the highest in the country. And the common thing is, they say Karnataka is around population of Karnataka is about 6 crore. But if you can see the figures, we have already generated 6,49,024, 6 crore 49 lakh 24,092 Aadhaar. So apart from our own people, we have, apart from not everybody is our people. Apart from our people of Karnataka, we have also generated unique identification numbers from people who have been working here from other states as well. So overall, we have around 102 enrollment centers in the BBMP limits, 61 enrollment centers in Bangalore 1 centers, that is only in Bangalore, and 61 enrollment centers in Karnataka 1 centers, which is throughout the state, and 769 enrollment centers at Atalji Janashri Kendras, which is in all taluk and district headquarters. It is available. It is functioning. So right now we have stopped enrollment of Aadhaar because of owing to COVID pandemic, and very soon after the instructions by the government of Karnataka, we would resume the Aadhaar enrollment. Next slide, madam. Yeah, this is the web portal. This is the one of the major functions of the CEG, apart from other applications. What I've told, it is a support system for the CEG, the Karnataka Web Portal project. Basically, the project's aim is to provide an integrated solution at a single point information interaction for all citizens. Like I said, we have been developing a common template to all the government departments, be it the secretariats, be it the BBMP, be anything related to boards and corporations, any departments or anything related to the government, so that the citizen feels easier to get access to our websites, to the government websites. A common domain name is given, like if you can see at the bottom, departmentname.karnataka.gov.in. This is the department name comes, or the bbmp.karnataka.gov.in. Now it becomes easier for the citizen to get to know, to access the URL and the website, and totally and all our websites are conform to the essential prerequisites of usability, user centric, and universal accessibility in accordance with the GIGW guidelines and the guidelines issued by Government of Karnataka and Kannada Development Authority. And there are certain guidelines issued by Kannada Development Authority and the GIGW, wherein the Kannada Development Authority says once anybody logs in to our website, the first page should always be in Kannada. So there is an option as well for the people who can choose the English version, but the first page should always be in Kannada because Kannada is our administrative language of Karnataka. So it should be in the Kannada language. And right now there are about CG is handling about CG in particular. Karnataka web portal is handling about 962 government websites of all corporations, boards, BBMPs, various other departments, out of which 216 have been updated to the new template, and it is hosted by the CEG. And we are like, work is under progress to make sure all the existing websites and the departments are coming to the new template. And I'm sure that it will be done in couple of in maybe around 6 months time, because it's a huge process. Everything has to be shifted to our data center. Every data has to be stored in the data hub. So it's a long process, and we are doing it phase by phase. Next slide, madam. Yeah, mailing service. Government officials do not use your Gmail account. We do not use other mailing services like your Yahoo or other mailing services. We have developed our own mailing services for the government officials, which is the official way to communicate to other departments or your other employees who are working for the government of Karnataka, or an interaction between an agency working for the government of Karnataka and the government of Karnataka and other departments. So a common there is a common email ID given to them, except like I said, the domain name changes. The domain name remains the same, wherein the person who is working, like we have our project PD, project manager, project director webportal.karnataka.gov.in. So similar to that, there are other departments which add it, and Karnataka.gov.in will be the same common thing. Next slide, madam. Capacity building. It is basically again for the government officials, for the newly recruits, or for the people who have been working in the government departments. As on when there is a new development happening, new thing is being implemented by the government of Karnataka when it comes to IT enabled services and things of national importance, to execute them, we are providing training to all the government department officials, so that they get to know what is happening in what is new thing that has been implemented, what are all the new facilities that are being introduced by the government, and how to execute the projects so that the people are benefited out of them. And there is a state e-mission team which established by the department, which is like which interacts with all departments whenever there is a need and whenever there is a new thing being implemented, so that the same benefits are the benefits reach to the general public. Next slide, madam.
E-Kannada.
Yeah, e-Kannada. Like I said, Kannada being the administrative language of Karnataka, e-Kannada is a project which was newly launched by the government of Karnataka by the CEG. The main aim is to promote our language promote our culture among people among Kannadigas who don't know about Kannada, and also others. And we are now, trying to develop the syllabus, trying, wherein our main aim is to teach various languages, various subjects like geography, chemistry, in fact, medicine, commerce and management, information technology, as in Kannada medium. So this is an objective, and we really hope that it is implemented as soon as possible. It comes out as soon as possible, because people in the rural areas especially need this, who are into Kannada, people studying in Kannada medium need such kind of initiatives, and so that they can improve their knowledge, and they can come out in flying colors and choose whatever professions they have to choose to lead a good life. And among Pada Kannada is one of the softwares developed under eKannada, wherein we have developed the Kannada dictionary in a digital platform, so that people can get to know about the Kannada language, know about various words which are being used, terminologies which are being used commonly when it comes to government level, at the government level, and as a common level as well. Next slide. And yeah, that is it all about. And I've tried to introduce you people to a few of the core applications and the support system of CEG. As much as possible. There are other several projects which are in the pipeline, and we have an app store wherein you can download various apps developed by the government of Karnataka and by the CEG. All government, like Mobile One is there, Karnataka One, Bangalore One. The farmers can. There are applications for the farmers. There are applications under Animal Husbandry Department, Sericulture. Various departments have developed apps through CEG, which is made available in the App Store. And one more, and I have to mention about how CEG worked under COVID situation. We were working from home, to develop the web portal of COVID-related covid19.karnataka.gov.in, wherein you can find all the details about the COVID, how people are and how the government is handling the COVID situations, the latest news about COVID. And in fact, we were like the warriors behind the scene, and the entire team of CEG has worked under the leadership of our ACS, Mr. Rajiv Chawla, and our CEO, Mr. Vipin Singh, and as well as various project directors and project managers of various applications of the CEG. And thank you very much for allowing me to present our PPT and explain about the core projects of CEG. I hope people are benefited. People will get to know more about CEG, and they get to pass on the message to others, to tell them what Karnataka government is doing for the people.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Venkat, sir. I think you touched upon each and every point, and yeah, we do have some questions, and I will just take the questions and read the comments later. So I think most of the questions were also addressed there. Because we have, sir answering over there, Manjunath sir. I think that's how, when I was just looking at this, the project lead has a different job when the task is going and somebody else is looking into what is that required to be mentioned. Yeah. So with this, before we open to the questions, I thank Satish sir, Manjunath sir, and Venkat sir who joined us. I definitely understand how tough it is to pull time out of your busy schedules, sit here with us and address. So may I request participants to type from which place you are from, so that they get to know whatever they presented was listened, like was audible to the participants who are sitting in different parts of India. I request all the audience to type your state or district place name. Please do that. Yeah. And sir, you can just have a look at the chat box while I thank you for the messages, so you get to know. Because we have participants across India, and the efforts made by e-governance, particularly the government of Karnataka, is made known to this many people today with whatever set of data you brought to us. Otherwise, most of the time, like when you started, something like mobile one is something which probably is not, though we are not aware that we are using that application. You are trying to systematically present it through the slides. And I think e-governance is all about making life easier and convenient and simple to the citizens and public.
Simple to the citizens. Exactly.
Yes, the citizens. So you spoke about various e-governance project, right from mobile one. Then again, talking about I think utility bills is something. When you were talking, I was just trying to recall how important it is. Then you spoke about Karnataka State Data Center, how beautifully it is managed and presented. Though it was very crisp, I understand they themselves are very huge, but you try to put it in one slide and tell like something like that is happening at the back end. And you also spoke about.
One more thing I forgot. Yeah, one more thing I forgot to add is like, we are also looking into handling these Sarvottama awards, which is announced by the state government of Karnataka, especially for the government employees who are on regular payrolls. So they can, we are the people who are handling their applications, forwarding them to the concerned department in DPAR. And this is a unique thing wherein Karnataka government is doing much to the employees. And yeah, like I said, the award is for the government employees, and the government of Karnataka makes sure none of the government employees go unrecognized. And
yes, sir. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And you also spoke about the secretarial LAN. I think if there needs to be a system of decision making, how exactly data should flow to and fro for different, heads at different levels. So I think that was.
Because there are certain information which cannot be made available in public domain, and it has to go through an official to an official. So that is when.
I think data privacy is a major concern over there. And then again, you spoke about Karnataka State wide area network, and that was something nice to know how 56 departments are, integrated. Then again, Karnataka Resident Data Hub. This is something we Bangaloreans have to be dependent upon, and we don't know like how things would be if we imagine if this was not in place. Like BBMP, BDA, police department, healthcare, stamps, registrations. I know like these are the sectors which are like lifeline of a city, the development of a city, and IT has eased this process. I 100% agree with that. Then you spoke about e-office and how 962 websites have been functional, of which you are keeping around 300 websites updated. The templates are released.
All websites will now come under the regular, the common template which is being developed by the CEG very soon.
Okay, thanks for that updation, sir. And you also spoke about capacity building, and towards end you also spoke about HRMS because when you were talking about certain things, my husband being in government sector is a government employee. Like I see him a lot of shift over this last 3 years. So when you were talking about HRMS, I 100% I could connect like what is that? And today it's like in the corporate world, all of us get on phone or over email all messages. But when you're talking about HRMS, what is the effort made by government to integrate that employee sector, most of the administrative and other employee set of things? That's really appreciable. Though it's like It's initiated slow, but it's happening compared to, like my director said, we Karnataka are pioneers in many things and we have been greatly successful. So that's one thing which we all need to appreciate and be proud of. So there are some questions and Manjunath sir has addressed the questions, answers, I guess. If there is any participant, there is one request we would not like to, if the speaker or the authority is not willing to speak more, let's respect the dignity and maintain the decorum, because something like controversial about tax would not be the right portal here to speak, because we have
Exactly.
convinced them to
We are
come here and share the details only. Yes, sir.
we are not, we are like, we are not authorized to speak on certain things in, for this, to be presenting this, we had to take permissions. So apart from that, we can't divulge any other details about other things. And yeah, commonly you can get into our website, ceg.karnataka.gov.in, to get to know what are all the projects that are being executed by the CEG. And applications, you can go to appstore.karnataka.gov.in, wherein you can get to know about various apps that are being developed by the Karnataka government and by the CEG for various other departments. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So there are much appreciations for many things what has been integrated. Rupam Soni ma'am is saying tourism department is untouched. Sir has answered tourism has their own infrastructure setup. Then again, we have, yeah, I'm just scrolling down to identify the questions because I asked them to type
We have, I would like to clarify that, whatever presentation has been made, it has been made of Center for E-Governance. What the e-governance department has been doing, sir has already answered, tourism, they have their own infrastructure. They are doing a lot to improve the tourism sector in Karnataka. In fact, if I have to speak about tourism has grown to a big level in Karnataka, and it is one of those places which attracts tourists a lot. And people might know about Mysore Dasara, Hampi Festival, and such other festivals wherein people from all across the world are, the converge, they come over to participate in this festival. Unfortunately, this year it has not been possible to organize Dasara festival because owing to COVID pandemic, it was very simple. So we only hope that, this thing gets resolved as soon as possible and we are back again with full force. And
yes, sir.
And one more before I hang up, I would request everyone to wear mask, sanitize yourself, and be safe.
The mask is yes, sir. We do have mask here, sir. So since we are in a boat,
right.
I agree. I mean, as sir, super thanks for that.
When you're in public, when you're in public, when you're going around meeting people, please maintain social distancing.
Definitely, sir. So I think sir has answered all the questions. So Manjunath sir, would you just come online for a minute because you're there, I know, and I sincerely want to extend my gratitude and thanks, sir. Sincerely, sir. I am so happy that government official is making this effort to bring in, though it is a very small effort, like you could identify Venkat sir and yourself, you're there on the session. And I thank the department for permitting you guys to come here and share the details. Manjunath sir, would you like to say something to our participants about how e-governance could be successful? What is the role we citizens have to play when it comes to accepting or using or implementing any projects? Is there any suggestions or advice you would like to give? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I could find couple of questions related to the technology and projects. Venkat, very thankful for the session, and I hope he has briefed everything, and you got to know all the modules which we are working and what are the projects we handle and how the citizen gets benefited with this. Okay, coming back to the participants side, like
sir, I would like to thank you for giving me an opportunity to be presenting this.
Yeah, fine. I hope it's an interactive session and you got to know the entire e-governance sector, how do we work and what are the technologies we handle. So let's not waste much time on this. And like I heard one of the questions from your side, like we do have internship. I mean, we provide encouragement to the students from various states. They come across and they apply for the interns, because whatever the projects we handle, so we'll support them. And I mean, if they can catch up with our speed and our technology, if they could learn a bit, so we are going to benefit them. And we do provide a certificate after once the project is completed. So I request, as of now I don't have any offers here, so you can keep us in track. Like once we are through with this, I'll let you know what are the existing projects which we can offer for the student side. I hope all are your students, right?
So they're all. So this is not only student group. Sorry, sir. Like due to short of time, I couldn't brief you the profile. I had just sent you over mail last night, and we have a lot of professors who are working with AICT affiliated colleges. We have around 4 or 5 students, and we have few people from pharmaceutical industry and R&D sector. There are few industry people also. So this is a mixed crowd of audience across India, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
not
I
an issue
think
like
that question was posted by a student, I guess, or a professor who is, I think Pradeep sir, Pradeep Singh sir is there. Pradeep Singh sir, if you could just unmute and say hello, where you are from, that would be really great.
Yeah, good morning and good afternoon to all. This is Pradeep Singh. I am based out from Lucknow. Basically, I am a CSR professional and also alumni member of Rashtam School of Public Leadership, which is into public policy actually. Previously, it has been called as Vision India Foundation. We all know it's been started by IITians, and that is why I asked how actually interns can be or how students can be benefited to go on the public policy kind of things. If they work for 3 months or 4 months and they can learn out by those things, and then we can consume if we find it out that there are certain good people or certain good students, then we can consume on certain projects. That is why actually I asked, because I am running with some of the intensive with some of the colleges across, you can say, South India. North India, we are struggling hard, but in South India, Maharashtra, Odisha, even Northeast, we are doing good. But Western India and North India, we are struggling hard for that. Thank you. And that is why actually, people should come to policy kind of things too. They should learn. And thank you for the same.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. And like you said, we have like some of the sessions, especially for the internship, and we do give assignments for them. And every week we review the progress, and like virtually we meet and what are the contributions from their end, and how we can adapt ourselves and how they can benefit from us. So these are the sessions which are going on. So like there will be one, administrator kind of thing, who they need to report to themselves, and they have individual projects lined up, so they can provide a status update every week and what are the developments they have done. So we do have a lot of intense kind of things.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Manjunath, sir, for addressing that, comment and query by Pradeep Singh, sir. Thanks, Pradeep Singh, sir, for joining us. And I think there were a few questions which you almost addressed, sir. Like, sir, I am also curious to know how, can governance be, used for election process or something like at a very citizen level for everybody, like, because we say governance is for everybody. I don't want you to talk in depth, but at least is it possible or how is it? Because when elections were going on, we were reading or coming to know that through phones can we do voting.
Yeah.
Any insights from your end, sir?
Yeah, because this is the one major sector which e-governance would not like to touch that, because as you can see, a lot of complication. I mean, technology too much is bit of dangerous, I guess. So it's a manual process, and which every state, not only our in this city, I mean, entire across the country
the world.
also. Yeah, because they don't want to get too much technology adapted into this. So
Yeah,
Okay.
because
you never get to know who's voting for whom. Somebody might snatch your phone
yeah,
and vote for one of his leaders, something like that. So
yes, yeah,
that is one of the reasons we do not want to touch upon the elections part when it comes to e-governance.
because it's purely administrational and we don't want to disturb the existing process. So since
Yes.
it is there from very long time, so we are getting into the existing one.
Yes, sir.
At least
Uh,
at least let something be manual.
yeah. So, because that is the lifeline of our country, so the democratic part. Thank you, sir. So, beyond this, is there any input you would like to give to the participants? Because every time government implements anything on technology, usually we see resistance. So, other than that, like what is that which is required? Like what I understand is some years ago, when technology was being brought to the citizens in a very simplified, sorry, in a little complex manner, it would be tough. But today, I think you will keep the user end in mind and design. So, if there is resistance, what is your advice? If there is a worry or concern about their data privacy, what is your suggestion, sir?
Like regarding this data privacy, I think you are very much aware of this. There is one open data policy, which I mean from the central which we run. So there is a guidelines, bit of set of guidelines for this. I mean whatever the crucial data. I mean first step is will be it will be very much secured and we don't want to display it publicly. Like we don't want to display the one person data to the disclosing to the other one. So there are set of guidelines followed by this, and it is been acknowledged by the higher officials. So I think something related to this open data policy, we should be aware of that. Coming back to the, I mean, secured and everything, we have a very good resources from the KSDC point of view, which they'll monitor 24/7. So we have a very good resources across the state. So we can guarantee you the data security as well. I mean, we'll be getting the vulnerability threats on time, so which the team would be able to resolve it immediately.
Okay. So with this, I think if there are any questions from the participants, you can unmute and ask. Uh, if not, probably we can, close the session. I'm just scrolling down the chat box. You have to excuse me if there are any new messages. Kavana, my tech team, would you assist? I am unable to see the message box. Any new messages? Okay. Yeah. 1 second. Sir. So, yeah, I just missed because I was moderating the session. The feedback form is there for, is it come? Feedback form, has it come? Yes. So with this, I think if there are no questions, we can close the session and wind up. And before I do that, I again heartfelt thanks to Manjunath sir. Thank you so much, sir. Because
Thank
if
you.
you were not supporting, this session would have not happened. And I would have still been looking like, what is this? I couldn't bring somebody to share the efforts made by government, having known it from very nearby. But I somewhere had that confidence that I should give a second try and reach somebody. So I went on to the web portal and I tried to reach you, and that's where you were the one who responded, sir. So although I reached 2, 3 people, they were all very busy and occupied because of various elections and other things which are happening. So fortunately, we could get you, and you were very supportive. And Venkatnath sir, so thank you so much, sir. You detailed the session and made it easy for us, and you briefed us all what is the efforts made by the government. So we wish all the best. Though government is a bigger body, we are a very small entity here, but still we wish best because we expect a lot of things from e-governance, from government end. So best wishes to all your project, Manjunath sir, and Venkatnath sir,
Thank
best wishes. And
Thank you
please
so
be
much.
supportive whenever we get back to you, because we need you guys coming and sharing. Otherwise, it will be totally like a, blank interface, what's happening, nobody's talking. Though it is there on website, I don't think most of these people would go themselves and see it on the website. So thank you so much for that effort, sir. So with this, with your permission, we will close the session, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us, and I hope CAG has fulfilled it has given relevant informations to everyone. And
definitely, sir, because Tuesday when we planned this session, the official was a little occupied, and then again it happened today. At least that way, we got the whole set of information, and we are very happy about that. And I think participants also will agree, because you saw a lot of appreciative comments on the comment box. So thank you so much, sir. So we close this session with the permission of Manjunath, sir. Shall we close, sir?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Sir,
hope,
I simply appreciate your humbleness, Manjunath, sir. You're so humble. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.